Declaration of Independence, there seem to be two parts to it. There's the aspirational part, Mr. Speaker, of the Declaration of Independence. Of course, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. We understand that now in a more enlightened way, all men, all women, all children, all of God's children created equally. That they are entitled to certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so we spent a little time talking about what that could look like, our commitment to bringing about the American dream, the good life for every single person in this country, everybody. Work hard, play by the rules. You should be able to afford the good life in the United States of America. That's what we're going to continue to work on. Bring the American dream to life. Consistent with that aspirational part of the Declaration of Independence, the life, the liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But then as far as I can tell, there's also a second interesting part of the Declaration. It was the indictment against the king. And I commend everyone in this chamber, all of the American people who may be observing the proceedings in the House of Representatives, particularly as we approach July 4th, to read that Declaration of Independence. Perhaps I may even enter it into the record later on today. Because we're here, Mr. Speaker, to take our sweet time on behalf of the American people, to make sure as best we can, to cover all of the things that as Democrats we're fighting hard to defend during this extraordinary moment of assault directed at the American people as a result of this one big, ugly bill that will hurt everyday Americans in order to reward billionaires with massive tax breaks and then exploding the deficit and the debt in ways that will jeopardize the future of our children and our grandchildren. But the aspirational part of the Declaration of Independence, of course, that is often famously quoted. But then if you read other parts of the Declaration of Independence, extraordinarily written document, it reads like an indictment against the extremism of the king. It reads like an indictment against the kings. I think it was King George. It reads like an indictment against King George's flood the zone strategy. It reads like an indictment against King George's shock and awe strategy. It reads like an indictment against what I think may have been called Project 1775, which is what brought us to Project 1776. And you look at this indictment, and one of the things it alludes to, it talks about, is the notion of the king's effort to stop the assimilation of people from other parts of the world into the United States of America. So we understand that from the very beginning of this great country, there was a recognition, of course, of the importance of immigration to the success and vitality of the United States of America. And let me be clear, Mr. Speaker, so there's no misrepresentation. As House Democrats, we understand the importance, the urgency of securing the border. We believe that our immigration system is broken and that it should be fixed in a comprehensive and bipartisan way. So many leaders in that effort, so many big ideas were willing to partner in a bipartisan way. Pramila Jayapal, Linda Sanchez, Adriano Espaillat, Tom Suozzi, so many others. Veronica Escobar, we want to partner to fix our broken immigration system in a bipartisan and comprehensive way. Secure our border. But we're also going to make sure we stand up for our nation's heritage, a nation of immigrants, which continues to this very day. It's an important part of American exceptionalism, and as far as I can tell, in my reading of the original document, the writings of the founders of this great country, the framers of the Constitution, they recognized it from the very beginning. They weren't perfect. We didn't have a perfect start. But of course, as the preamble to the United States Constitution set forth, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union. Mr. Speaker, we've been set on this magical course, or march toward a more perfect union. And the immigration journey has always been an important part of the American journey. That's why it's heartbreaking to see some of the things that are happening in the country right now. The targeting in such an extraordinary way of law-abiding immigrant families, including American citizens. How can this be in the United States of America? Some people who might suggest that we should stay away from these stories. No, I'm going to lean into this part of the American journey because we support our heritage as a nation of immigrants. And we're going to stand up for dreamers, stand up for farm workers, stand up for law-abiding immigrant families all across this country. U.S. citizen children have been deported, Mr. Speaker. Is this who we've become in the United States of America? How can this be? This is extraordinary. 2-year-old American named Manu